Do you think voting is important and why?
Yes, I think voting is very important. We live barely in a democratic society, and it's really the only right we have. And I think that it's very important to voice your opinion about what's
Do you
happening.
think it's important to vote and why?
I think it's very important to vote so that your opinion and vote gets out there. You know, there's a lot of people in California, and every vote counts, and sometimes races are really close, and it's important to get out there and express what you feel and be a good example for your community and your kids and school students that politics matter and that it's important to get out there and express what you feel.
Is there any specific issue or candidate that stands out for you?
Yeah, the issue, a super important issue, which is not getting the attention it deserves, is Prop 25, which is where the state can pass a budget with only a majority instead of the 2/3. And that's what's the 2/3 is what has crippled California, and it's just driving it down. And the problem is the Republicans want to keep 2/3 because that means they'll always have at least a third, and then they can basically write a minority budget, and they hold the entire budget hostage year after year after year, even though being in a minority party, and that's not the way democracy is supposed to work. It's majority rule, and if they want to have their way, they should get the majority and have their way. So I mean, that's how anybody else. Imagine if the federal government needed a 2/3 to pass a budget. I mean, even the Senate, the 60-vote Senate, and you can never get, to overcome a filibuster. 2/3 is 67%. It's insane. So we're we're absolutely dysfunctional state. And so if you want a functional state and a true democracy, then you have to vote Prop 25 and vote yes on it so we can end that. It was brought in back, 30 years ago or whatever it's been as part of the Prop 13, and it's been crippling us ever since, and it's just getting worse and worse, not better. So that's the main issue. Of course, you have to defeat Prop 23, which is going to, set back all the the clean air stuff, and it's just a big oil thing. Prop 19, vote, but I'm not going to tell you how to vote because everybody has their own little shtick on that. I have, but that's clearly something that affects people. So don't be shy. And I know people have conflicting attitudes about it, but there's a chance to do your thing. And then of course for candidates, oh my gosh, that's very, if we lose Barbara Boxer, then that's it. We've lost the Senate entirely. She's the canary,
Okay, so what candidates do you support for the hospital district and why?
Well, I am planning to vote for the three who agree, Mike and Judy and Kristin. And because I think that, now this is a complex issue, and there are failings and strengths on the part of everybody involved, and it's very complex. But I think that as I said on my All Sides Now last night, I think that they're in trouble over there. And I think that they're in trouble not because of what they've done right, and I think that you have to ask yourself, well, who's been responsible? And I think that what they have had there has been basically a 3-2 majority for what I would call a conservative faction on the board. And I think the thing that both Darrell and Ed have been loudly complaining about is that they've been being shut down because they're the 2 votes. And so remember how when the Republicans had control of Congress, they just wouldn't let the Democrats even talk. And so I'm afraid that something similar to that has been happening. And so a lot of good ideas that Darrell and Ed have had, now they got their weaknesses, but they also have great strengths. And I think that those strengths have not been taken proper advantage of. And a lot of their ideas were good and might have helped a great deal to prevent the situation the hospital finds itself in. And I think personally, I think that the three who agree have the best ideas and attitudes of any of the candidates that I've seen. Now, Barbara Truitt also has skills and an ability that I think could be very useful. And what I plan to do is vote for the three who agree, and then I want to support Barbara coming in December when Darrell leaves.
Okay.
There's 2 other people that are running with her. kind of as a slate. The guy's name is Bill. You know what? I'm going to vote for Barbara Truitt. I know for sure that I'll vote for her.
So do you think Proposition 19 will pass, and why?
Well, I don't know if it will pass, but I hope it will. I think it'll be a move in the right direction. I think that our prisons are full of people with drug-related, convictions, and I think it's wrong. That's morally wrong. So I'm hoping that California moves a little bit more into the right way and votes yes on Proposition 19, even though it's imperfect.
I think that it will pass, just because I think so many people are tired of having all that prohibition, and they want to be able to have their medical marijuana, which I know is already legal anyway, but I think it's going to pass. I do.
Okay.
Is there an issue or a candidate that stands out for you in the November 2nd election?
Well, the issue is, I hope that the Democrats get out and vote and slap down a lot of the silly stuff that's coming up now.
Electoral race is pretty darn important, I would say, for sure. And it's top on my list. And although I really want to vote green, I prefer to vote green. I'm not so sure that my vote is going to make the difference that it needs to make, because the critical mass isn't behind the Green Party.
Candidate that stands out for you in the November 2nd election.
Well, I think it's really important to get a Democratic governor in our state, since most of Californians are Democratic persuasion, and I think he will do a really good job. I think he has experience in that position. I think it's really important that Jerry Brown be our next governor, and I really don't care for the person he's running against.